Oh, there it is.
It's a beauty.
Yes, indeed. I am super excited about this new flat panel antenna from Starlink and to add it to my expedition camper underway. And this, of course, if you've been following along, started off as a bare two-wheel drive truck chassis and converted with a custom four-wheel drive drivetrain onto this new now expedition camper truck with a custom composite panel camper that I built up with some friends and of course started cutting some holes into not only it but also the camper for windows and pass-throughs and things like that, and also big large garage doors, and of course finishing off the entire build of this camper, both at least on the outside and now of course moving on to the inside after doing some four-wheel drive testing and of course building out this framing on the inside, including that to support the large battery system about to be connected up. Support this Starlink flat high performance antenna. We got to have some communications in the new camper because the plan is to travel around the world. That is what the purpose of building this big beast over here that I'm building, this big expedition camper. So I've always had a plan for an antenna mast, lifting antenna mast. I'll electrically lift at the front face of the camper. And then I'll lift up to both raise some ham and CB radio antennas as well as some sort of wireless extender to get better wireless coverage, and that would be 802.11 as well as of course cellular. And then also probably a Starlink that would lift up. And so in traditional Starlink antenna, I would stow it and it would stow away into its more vertical position. I would lower the electric mast down and that would always be permanently mounted. I wouldn't have to go and move it around and so forth or place it out in the ground somewhere. This of course would be particularly attractive in any kind of like a particular urban setting or busy setting, parked along the side of a street, or even just in a busy place where people are camping, you know, and you may not have a good spot to run it out and have to run cable out, or camping out in the wintertime. Let's just say camping at a ski resort. You think of many places or options where I camp where that just wouldn't really be practical to go ahead and place a Starlink out and be able to be set up there to be able to communicate. So I've always wanted to have it more permanently mounted. That's why the electrical lifted antenna mount. However, Starlink came out with their new fat mount. I went ahead and ordered it and I got it within actually a couple of days of it being announced. I'm just finally getting this video out now. So let's just go ahead and take a look at it. They provide really good documentation, dimensions, and everything else on their website. That's fantastic. Thank you, Starlink/SpaceX, for putting up such great dimensions on your website. That is incredibly helpful, particularly building something like an expedition camper, a boat, anything else. You have a very compact space, you have a very specific, a designated space. It really helps to have dimensions, and it gets really frustrating with so many manufacturers who just don't put good dimensions down. So anyways, thank you Starlink for putting out great dimensions. I've already opened this up. It's very well packaged. It's got a really nice setup here. This is the antenna itself, and that is the, of course, router and everything else. So let's take a look at the antenna. You can see there it is thin, and that, of course, is the big benefit of this one. It's expensive, but it's thin. And so if we look at dimensions, and I'm going to provide these in imperial dimensions only because that's what my tape measure here provides. In imperial, it's basically 20 1/8 of an inch in width and 22 about 5/8 of an inches long. So 22 5/8 long and about 20 1/8 wide. This right here is the actual mounting plate. So that's what I'm lifting up. You can see it's even got a template on the back. Very nice. Well done. Again, Starlink. Very good limitation of packaging with just a simple little cardboard plate here over the antenna itself to protect it, the array, and as well as also being our template for mounting it. So if we look at the mounting holes, they are about 11 3/4 on center across the width. And again, this would be about, this may vary by a millimeter or two, and about 15 3/4 long. So those are the amounts. Kind of gauging it here up against a tape measure here off this angled base. I'm going to measure it with the cardboard. It's just over 1.5 inches deep. So let's just call it 1 and to be safe, 1 5/8. But it's probably really closer to like 1 9/16 of an inches thick. So incredibly thin. It's fantastic. So even if I had an inch mount, that would still only be 2.5 inches above the roof, about the height or thickness of my skylights when they are closed. So really fabulous. Now, weight's also an importance, at least it is to me. So let's go measure it. Let's go see how much this thing weighs. Okay, so I'm going to put on the trusty scale. Look at that, 6 kilos. You got to wonder if the engineers actually had a design constraint to make it to 6 kilos. Again, it's not touching the ground here. I can move this, wobble it, You can see the scale change. 6 kilos is 13.2 pounds. So there you go. That's 13 pounds just for the dish array on the roof. Now I can get in a little bit more on how I'm going to mount it, how I'm planning on mounting it, because now I no longer have to have a lifting mount. I can just make it a fixed mount. So let me show you a drawing of what I'm planning for that, and with the solar panels as well. I have something a little bit extra planned for the roof. It's actually always been part of my plan. I think I mentioned this a long time ago in one of my videos, or many of my videos a long time ago, that I'm planning on having my solar panels actually slide out to each side, and that way they become essentially an awning, a fixed awning or a hard awning. And they'll only slide out just a little ways. I call it about 1.5 feet. But by sliding out that 1.5 feet, now I have this called fixed awning to do a few things. One, shade the side walls of the camper when it's hot out. Two is it'll also, of course, provide some shading of the windows on the side, and also some rain protection of the windows as well to keep them a little bit cleaner during rain and things like that. So just a way to get a little more shade out to the side of the camper. Also gives a little bit of covered protection over the entryway and the entry platform, which is also a deck, a little outside slide out deck. So all those things, that's the reason really for the slide out solar panel platform. This, of course, will be fixed. I can have it slide out, but I don't see any need for that. I don't think I will, so I plan on having it fixed. Here are two of the plans with the Starlink. This one up in the front next to the front skylight, and the other one here with the Starlink in the back next to the rear skylight. Tell me what you think in the comments below. Let's go take a quick look at what else is in the box. Okay, so in the box over here, you can see it is really nicely set up. They've got the router and their modem or power supply. I guess this right here is the main power supply or hub, and this of course is the wireless setup. Really nice cables and everything set up. Yes, unfortunately it still is all 120 volt. They do not have a 12 volt or 24 volt DC option, which is very unfortunate. It would be wonderful if they did. Here are the instructions, the mounting screws, and all that kind of stuff. I'm going to go take a look at this, figure out where I'm going to mount all these things, and work on getting this stuff, all my solar and other entry glands for this wiring installed on the rooftop up there. Way up there. Where's my roof? Hey, it's somewhere up there. I can't even quite see it from here. But yes, I'm going to get all that stuff up there and get this thing mounted up along with all the solar array. So a lot to do. I've got to paint the camper. That's right. The camper and the cab are going to get painted. I can see there's still quite a bit to do. A garage door, actuators in. I got to get the entry door in. So yeah, there's still quite a bit to finish this DIY expedition camper and get it rolling out on the road. Please do subscribe and certainly do pay attention. There's a lot coming up, including the installation of a second alternator dedicated to the house batteries, this big electrical system, finishing up the cabinet framing, covering them up with some nice trim, and of course also, let's see, building this retired carrot and on and on. Come on and join, watch, subscribe, and I'll certainly be able to share more with you, and certainly let me know in the comments below which route plan you think might work better and why.